Now, one of the things we do here at SHPE Chicago, we give away scholarships. That's one of our passions and what we have. So what I want to do is I want to turn up the mic to Socorro, who's our VP of Students, Student Affairs. She's going to explain a little bit more about the scholarships, the scholarship recipients, and then we're going to bring on some more activities. Socorro?
Hi everyone, thank you for coming today. Today we're going to be presenting 9 scholarships to students that are in high school and college that are pursuing an engineering degree, a science or mathematics, and they're right here where there's 3 of the students, and we gave them the scholarships because they had to fill out an application and a recommendation letter, and they all met the criteria with good grades, great recommendation letter, the transcripts and everything. So a part of this event actually is 100% of that is going to be funded to give out the scholarships for next year's scholarship recipients. So thank you everyone for contributing to this, and we'll be presenting the recipients. There were 9, like I said, and I'm going to be calling out one of the recipients. His name is Roberto Ibarra. Roberto Ibarra is at UIC studying civil engineering, and is a senior. So thank you, Roberto, for coming. And the next person is Concepcion Duran. Concepcion Duran is Concepcion Duran was the only high school student actually that applied for a scholarship, and she's now a freshman in Northeastern University, and she's planning to pursue a career in electrical engineering. Our next recipient is Diego Lamas. Diego Lamas is at UIC pursuing a degree in chemical engineering, and he's a junior. I'm just going to mention the other students that received the scholarship. Armando Ruiz from University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. He's a junior in industrial engineering. Felix Morales is a junior at UIC, majoring in bioengineering. Gilberto Chávez is a senior at University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, majoring in civil engineering. Daniel San Gavino, a sophomore at Northwestern University, majoring in civil engineering. Victor Cueto, a senior at UIC, majoring in mechanical engineering. And Freddy Villalverde, a senior at University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, majoring in material science and engineering. And they couldn't be here today because of conflicts, but we're going to be sending them their scholarship checks in the mail. But thank you everyone for your hard work, for your efforts in college, and hopefully you guys can use this money to help you out with your scholarship needs in college.
Thank you. Just so you know, a little bit about what we do at SHPE Chicago. A lot of the funding, I should say all the funding that we get from corporations such as Allstate, I know we have representatives from Allstate here, Baxter, they're very good partners of ours, and they're the ones who make it possible for us to give this money away. Every year we've been averaging between quite a few thousands of dollars to help students at a college, and we're starting to open it up to high school level to promotion of STEM. We find it here, the people behind you, our executive board, very, very important to continue with the education to our high school and college students. So again, the scholarships, the money we receive comes from networking events, comes from funding, strictly from donations from companies as well who want to be a part of our organization. Now, without further ado, I want to explain the SHPE's President's Award. When I took over presidency a couple years ago, I realized that there's a lot of great Hispanic engineers in the Chicagoland area that gave back to the community, who dedicated a lifetime of their time and money and effort to give back to the community. The Ship's President's Award fits very uniquely in the community itself. The person who receives the Ship's President's Award is somebody who's obviously Hispanic, an engineer, who's given years and years of his lifetime back to the community, students, the city, or helping fundraise people, Hispanics, to give back their time. Not something that they go for, profit, not a corporation, something that they feel in their heart that they do. This is the Ship's President's Award. What I like to do is I like to give it away to somebody who says, I'm amazed. This is something that I never thought I was going to do because I never did it for recognition. I never did it for fame. And I'm not doing this because I'm getting paid. I'm giving back to the community because I feel it's something to do. And this is something that we here at SHPE Chicago find very, very important, because we need mentors, we need leaders, we need those who show us the way and why we are where we are today because of people like that. And this is something in which the Ship's President's Award will continue on to become very elite, and understand that the people who win this award, it's not because they're doing something to get paid. It's something because they have a passion in their heart to do. They dedicate their time to do that. So without further ado, let me explain a little bit about this year's recipient. He was born in Chicago. His father was from Michoacan, Mexico, and his mother is El Paso, Texas. Commissioner Avila graduated from Harrison High School in 1956. I don't know if I should mention any years. In 1956, but he received his Bachelor's of Science degree of Civil Engineering from the University of Illinois in Urbana. After that, he received a Master's degree in Finance from the University of Arizona. Commissioner Avila is a professional engineer and a professional land survey in the state of Illinois. Now here's the key. As an environmentalist, civil engineer, and a land surveyor, Commissioner Avila owned a civil engineering company named Avila Associates Incorporated and practiced engineering and land surveying for 52 years. Now that's a long time, guys. So that's one of the things. He was elected commissioner at the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of the Greater Chicago in 2002, re-elected in 2008. Commissioner Frank Avila is the chairman of the Engineering Committee, the Maintenance and Operations Committee, and the Health and Welfare Committee. So that's given back a lot. Commissioner Avila and his wife, Sherry, have produced numbers of environmental shows on Chicago Access Network TV, and I'm sure you can bring up a little bit more about that, which you can view itself. He frequently speaks about addressing a number of community and business organizations, schools, and public agencies. Married for 48 years. Now, here's what I figured out about being married. For 48 years, think about this. He was married for 48 years, but he ran a successful land surveying company for 52 years. So I think we can link those two, the success of marriage, and we kind of know, we kind of can bring that two together, which I'm sure you can talk about that. But without further ado, what I want to do, I want to introduce and I want to present the 2013 Presidential Award to Commissioner Frank Avila. Commissioner? Commissioner?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. As you heard my resume, I graduated from Harrison High School. How many here ever heard of Harrison High School? It's on the southwest side on California and 24th Street. I went to high school for 4 years, and when I graduated, I was the bottom of my class. I never studied in high school. I played trombone and piano. My father was a musician, and he played Latin and jazz, and we used to play every weekend. And so I didn't have time to study. So when I graduated high school, I was graduated at the bottom of my class. And so I went to work on the docks, and the work was too hard for me. And I said, I don't want to be doing this all my life. So I went and I tried to enroll at the University of Illinois, and I wasn't qualified. So I went to Crane College at that time. And at that time it was on Jackson and Oakley, but now it's not called Crane Junior College. It's called Malcolm X now. They changed the name. So I went there for a year, and then after I went there a year, I reapplied at the U of I at Navy Pier at that time, and I got accepted there, and that's where I finished up my degree out in Champaign. But I always, I never gave up, and that's why I was telling you, I like to tell young kids, never give up. I went to school, I got my first job in the city of Chicago, and I switched over to the sanitary district of Greater Chicago. And then I got married, I fell in love, I got married with my wife Sherry, and I went to Arizona, I got my master's degree in finance. I came back, and I worked in real estate, and then I worked on construction, and I did the Sears Tower, I did the Standard Oil building, I did a couple of bridges, and then I decided I wanted to start my own business. And so I went and I started my own business, and I tried to get a job, a contract with the city of Chicago, and they said, Frank, you have to get some experience. And so I went out of town. I had my first contract was in Bloomington, Illinois, Peoria. So I was gone for the whole week, and I came back, and I built my firm up to, when I sold it, I had a firm of 80 employees. And during that time, I met a fellow by the name of Rod Garcia. How many here know Rod Garcia? Rod, and how many here know the Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers? You all know that name, right? Mm-hmm. Well, there were 7 people in LA that started SHPE. And Rod Garcia was the spearhead of starting SHPE. And I met Rod, and Rod says, Frank, why don't you join SHPE and we'll start a chapter here in Chicago. Now this goes way back, 1975, 1977. And there were very few Hispanic engineers, very few. And there was none that had a business. And so I started I think I was the first one that started my business. I was the first Hispanic person that started a business, and I was always encouraging other people to start their business. So we formed another portion of that SHPE of entrepreneurs to try and get other Hispanics to start their business. And it was hard because no one wants to take a risk. Because when I started my business, I came home and I told my wife, I want to start a business, and she started crying because she liked that check to come in every week. You like a check, because when you own a business, you don't get a check coming in every week, and sometimes if you work for the city of Chicago, they don't pay for a year.
Or 2 years. 2 years.
And at one time, they owed me $1 million for 2 years.
Wow.
And we almost went broke. And so they do have a good program, and their program is to go broke. That's broke. And I don't know if it changed or not, but we survived. We built the business up for 80 employees. But I always liked politics. So I ran for office. I ran for the commissioner of the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District in Greater Chicago in 1998, and I lost. And then I ran again in 2000, and I lost. So I decided to run again in 2002, and no one wanted to help me because they said I'm not going to win. So it was my wife, my 2 boys, and my daughter. We were our group that campaigned. And when the votes came in, I won. My 3rd time, I won by 2,600 votes. And they were telling me that I'm Mexican-American. They say that a Mexican could not beat the other competitors because no one will vote for a Mexican at that time. But I won the race because I went and visited every ethnic group in Cook County. There's a lot of, Cook County is made up of very many ethnic groups, and I try to see every one of them and visit them and ask them if they could vote for me. And when the votes came in, I won, and that was my 3rd race. My 4th race, it's very hard to raise money, so on my 4th time, I raised about $17,000. And the other people were raising $300,000, $400,000. And I had, and the 4th time that I won, I was the largest vote getter in Cook County. And that was based on $17,000. So I, besides encouraging these Hispanic young kids to start their own business, I encourage everyone in here to run for office. Because to run, it's not hard to run for office. All you need to do is collect your petitions, your signatures, and get on the ballot. Because we need more Hispanic as elected officials. Because we're lacking in the state Supreme Court, we're lacking in the appellate court, we're lacking in my office. Our agency, how many here ever heard of our agency? Metropolitan Water Reclamation District of Greater Chicago. We are an engineering type of agency. And we have 7 plants, 3 are the largest in North America, 1 is the largest in the world. We are the expert in treating human waste and protecting the water environment, and I would encourage every one of you guys to try to come and apply for a job with us. I started, next year, I started the internship program now. Then we're going to allow internships, so I would encourage every one of you to call up our Human Resource Department and apply and see if they get an internship. We're going to pay $13 an hour for an internship position, and the ones that are graduated, I encourage them to send their resume in to try and get a job with our department. We are the expert in wastewater throughout the whole world. It's because one of our plants is the largest in the world. So I appreciate this presidential award. Thank you very much, and thank you.